Hey, this is Sean with the Prepared Homestead. I wanted to give you a quick update on the greenhouse and how it's doing. It's September 5th, 2021, and see how it's going. Just give you a quick look around real quick. It's it's like a jungle in here. It's going great overall. But I really want to talk to you about two things real quick, and then I'll show you a few more specifics. And the first is, for our climate, one of the reasons why I built a cold climate greenhouse and wanted to get into this was the resiliency that it brings. It's a force multiplier. It extends our season greatly, and that's all the reasons why I wanted to do this, and then just to kind of report to you after the whole, not the end of the first season, because I can push this a lot longer, which is one of the great things about it, but to say that it's done all of that, and it's even exceeded my expectations as far as production, as far as season extension, all that kind of stuff. And anyway, I mean, obviously you can tell that to be able to extend the season inside of a well-insulated structure like this is not hard, but also been able to do it with very low energy. And I'll talk to you about some of those things. But resiliency goes way up. Our if you haven't watched any of my other videos on this cold climate greenhouse, one of the reasons, or one of the challenges we have up here in North Idaho at 48 degrees north latitude-ish, is very short season. Okay, very short season. Some years it's 90 days, or it could be a little less. Some years it might be 110 or something like that. Okay, so with all that, this is such a game changer, because it moderates all that on the shoulders very easily. And then with a little bit of help, we can modify that on the extreme edges of the season and even year round. Okay, so for example, here at the very end of August and early September, two nights in the last week. Okay, 2 nights last, we had a frost warning. Okay, now where we live, we didn't actually get frost, but we had a frost warning. So it dipped close, but not too. I mean, like normal lows for this time of year for us is mid 40s, maybe even high 40s. But it dipped below that. In some areas, depending on where you are, your micro terrain and all that, can vary greatly. So there's people with frost pockets that might have even got some frost during that time. That's not really us, but still, another thing that you'll hear on boards and forums and in groups, at this time of year here in North Idaho, is everyone's like, hey, how do I get my tomatoes to ripen? Because everybody knows the end of the season is right around the corner. Like, typically mid-September is kind of like, that's it, at best. Maybe you can push it a little bit with some row covers, and of course then hoop houses and greenhouses, cold climate greenhouses will extend those seasons. But outside growing, mid-September, plus or minus, depending on the year, that's it. So people are starting to talk about how do I ripen tomatoes and all that kind of stuff. All right, we've been harvesting ripe tomatoes out of here since late May, right? And we will continue to harvest ripened tomatoes out of here. My goal is into November, and honestly we can do that rather easily. But for me, the challenge is, can I do that with a low amount of energy? Okay, so again, the resilience that this greenhouse gives us is incredible, very incredible. The second thing that I want to talk about is that, and again, I've mentioned this in a lot of other videos, is that we can mimic a completely different climate in this small space. Okay, so in this small space, we're able to mimic a Mediterranean climate. Okay, I've got grapevines that are going crazy. I've got hardy kiwi that's going crazy. I've got fig. I'm not sure. And again, I'll show you this in a little bit more detail. But I got fig that's shooting up behind me. Turkish mulberry, olive trees, all kinds of stuff. We've already been harvesting purple potatoes. I've got ginger growing behind me in that pot. It's doing great. I mean, I can tell. It's just like, it's almost like I need a bigger space to grow it because the inside of that is just filled with ginger. Okay, so that's one of the really cool things that I like about this is the ability to mimic a different climate than where we live. All right, so let me give you a quick tour. I'll show you a few specific things that are pretty interesting. Oh, one thing to check out real quick is how the fish are doing. You can see they're getting pretty big. I've got bluegill and goldfish in there. Looking pretty good. I fed them not too long ago, so they're not too crazy right now. All right, so I clearly I have not pruned the way that I should, but that's okay. I mean, like I said, I'm harvesting ripe tomatoes every day at this point. This is my second batch of cucumbers that's coming back up, starting to fruit again. I've been harvesting. It's really interesting in this kind of experiment here along there. A lot of peppers growing. All the way down, you can see. It's gone okay. All right, it's gone okay. The reason where it's just because it's okay is because obviously there's not a lot of soil in that. But it's been good. Like, for example, there's 2 jalapeno plants that I've been harvesting, off and on for quite a long time. And then cayenne. We use a lot of cayenne. And you can see there's a bunch of just cayenne. There's a bunch of ripe cayenne right now that I've got to be able to harvest. We've gotten quite a bit of, well, I'll say quite a bit, 6 to a dozen or so cantaloupe, eggplant. We've gotten quite a bit of that stuff. And again, I'm not even pruning this very well, so I'm sure I could, if I paid better attention to that, I'd be getting better fruit. Here's interesting, our little olive tree here. There's the olive tree. We've got a few. I mean, we're not getting a lot of olives, but if you look right there, we'll get a chance to taste test some this year. And there's hops, and in fact, the hops are starting to fruit in there, so we'll get some hops out of this. Over here, this is pretty interesting. Another olive, and again, like I talked about ginger. I mean, like if I just start to dig this up, this is just filled with ginger root. Mulberry. I mean, the amount of growth that's been put on in one season is pretty incredible. I love this fig tree back there. It's a brown turkey fig, and I'm going to be pruning this up some more, but that's above 6 feet already. And my plan is let me take a step back so you can kind of see the area, right, that it's going to have to grow in. My plan is right now I've got it pruned down to about 3 stems, and because I wanted to see how I could train it. And so like this one's looking really good, and I think that one I'm going to let go and get nice and tall. And then there's one more in the back. Probably, I don't know if it's kind of hard to see, but anyway, it's back here, this one right here. I'm going to let that one go, and then I'm probably going to prune that 3rd one out back there, and there's another one here where I'm just making another plant. Did some layering down there, so I'll make another plant. But I want to kind of keep that, the exhaust fan area somewhat clear. And I don't care about keeping it totally clear, but I want to keep it somewhat clear. This is kind of cool. So we've been harvesting Meyer lemon. Like these guys, honestly, these guys are ready. They are. Anytime we want, we can take those. And we've been harvesting Meyer lemon out of there. Let's see, what else? Like these grapevines are awesome. They're killer. I've got, just like I did over here with this cable, I'm going to do that again. That's going to go up there. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Right, and then train these vines, which I've not done a good job of. But that's kind of in the works, and then that'll become kind of more permanent fixture. And then, like I said, that's obviously hops. There's also grapes in there. One thing that has not done very well, I should say it like this: the male hardy kiwi plant's done very well. I lost a female plant. That sucks, but that's okay. We'll get that filled back in. And that's the gist of it. Let's see what else can I show you. I turned off the pump for the aquaponics. for now. But, you know, and then, like I said, this is a big mess. But I was like, whatever. And I've got a bunch of winter squash that is growing in there. And this, you know, if you look at, let's see if I can get you a better look. So, you know, there's all these peppers. They're doing pretty well. I think they would produce more if they had, you know, more soil to go into. But not bad. I'm not, you know, for what we're using it for, it's actually working out pretty darn good. And yeah, a few things we're kind of running over here. You can see, you know, I've taken 3 comfrey cuttings already, and you can see them just growing back. It's just really incredible. Anyway, I think that's it. I've got some more work to do on the aquaponics system itself to improve it a little bit. That's going to be basically a radial flow filter that I haven't gotten to yet. And then other than that, this place is really kicking well. All right, we'll catch you guys next time.